Okay. I don't think anyone's here, but hello. Anyway, hello. Hope everyone's doing well. I wanted to come on and try for maybe a little over an hour before I start a new phase on tomorrow, and we'll see then what the schedule looks like. So, I understand that lots of people are not feeling well. This is late. All kinds of things are going on. But I'm here to try and make an attempt at reading. Hi, Miss Claudia. How are you doing, honey? How was your visit with your best friend? How did that all wind up being? It was sweet. That's awesome. Did you guys get to do anything specifically fun? I know you did a walk and talk. You mentioned that. Thursday. What day is today? Monday, almost Tuesday. Okay. How did that go? Guys, let me just shuffle here. I almost crunched my divining rods. That's not the best plan ever. Hello, beautiful. I got your text earlier. And it was like, yes, I was supposed to go live this weekend. I actually wound up having a whole bunch of people book privates. And before I start a new schedule this week, I was trying to get to those. And so then I didn't have time. This is the last day. I mean, probably not. I'm sure my schedule will be different than I think it's going to be. But because I don't know the answer, I was trying to get things completed if I could. Hanging in there, madam. How have you been? They want me to shuffle these, but I'm trying to get to them. Here we go. How do you mean, Claudia? Do you mean like you need to help? You need to stop taking care of him full time and you need a helper? Is that sort of the point? Is your answer, Pix? That's your answer to how you're doing? Hi, Amanda. Yeah, I figured it had something to do with your health. Like they were saying, your health, girl, you got to watch your health. Stress is bad for so many of your conditions, so you need to get a helper somehow. I suspect. Walk away. That seems a little extreme. Miss Amanda, thank you for letting me stitch you. I figured out it was a stitch and not a duet because when I tried to do a duet, it's like literally has to be simultaneous. So it's like talking over the other person. How are all your babies, Miss Pixie? It was just spinning and spinning. From chest to shoulder blades, yeah. Oh, yeah. See, I've got POTS, so my heart rate is often way above that, but it's, not exactly normal or awesome. Yeah, I'm sure it is time for an assistant, Claudia. I don't think that, like, the doctor's just being a jerk. You need some sort of assistant, hospice or something. Well, I mean, I knew that you were talking some about that pic, and so I didn't know if that was something that you know, were looking for a read about, because it is so stressful. How are the puppies? That's not as stressful, right? How are the puppies? Okay, he is getting hospice. Okay. So there are options for helpers then. Josh is E. Yeah, I do know that other part. It's like the whole world. Half of on my in-law side, half of them got COVID last week. My brother, my sister, and his children got COVID last week. Poor Miss Cat has COVID. One of Joe's best friends has COVID. It's like people, it's so not past. Krista, that's right. I knew it was some of your youngins too. It was in Krista's house. Did you keep old Blue Eyes? Are you gonna name him Frankie, or him or her? It's a him, Frankie. I'm glad you haven't had it, Amanda. I had it myself, and my husband and my kiddo had it before it was named, before it had a name in the public. And so we were really struggling in the health system. They were yanking us around everywhere and just saying like how they couldn't figure out how we got back to back to back different types of flus and strep and all this kind of nonsense. So I don't ever want to see it in my family again, especially if it can weaken you the second time. I'm just not interested. Bojangles, I love that. Oh, Joe's here. Hi, Joe. Hold on. Hi, Joe.
Hello,
How are you?
I'm good. How is everyone?
Well, we're talking about wellness primarily. Amanda, how's your little bit? Is she feeling better? I know you guys a couple days ago had some stuff happening. Mr. Bojangles. Mr. Bojangles. Yeah, see, that's interesting. The little brown girl and old blue eyes were the two I was most interested in terms of like their little aura. It was like, gosh, if we lived closer, I would have probably made half the trip or more than half the trip to come get one of those babies, one of those two, because their energy was right for our family. All four of them were adorable, but they just weren't all an energy match.
Hi, Amanda.
Went to a little sassy girl. Well, that's good. What about the other little boy? Coughing and runny nose. I hope she's feeling better, though. I hope Cat's okay, too, because they've already done COVID once, and it was a scary time for them. I need to send her. I need to send her a link. I need to send a Wolf a link. I would have sent Pix a link, but she here. Pixie be here, she be here. But we will share this. Do 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 do. And do do do. Ow. And do 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 do. Do do do. Bum 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 bum. Oh, she says, "Love me, lady." Oh no. Okay, I'm sorry. I was on YouTube just to send the link, and I saw something about one of the cases, one of the active cases, and I didn't know about. Neighbor cat that walks with me now, but if I'm close to my hand, she says, "No, lady, you must pay attention to me. You are my human. You are my walking human." The emotional support is for a boy, I think. Oh, emotional support dog. Okay, cool. Okay, I missed that part. Amanda was on TikTok. Yeah, I'm addicted to quickly getting addicted. Do you know the neighborhood cat's name, Claudia? Yeah, I did a couple reading for a long time couple friend of mine yesterday. We did a long reading, um, and well, it was fun. I think for everybody actually, but I was telling them a little bit about TikTok just because they're both artists, and I was saying, if you're an artist of any kind, TikTok is the place to be. It's hard to see that over like the hype and the trendiness and that kind of stuff, but it's so useful for artistic and other types of collaboration. I know. Where's he going first, Pix? And Twin just started up school again, right? Oh man, I had that in my calendar too about Mr. Dust. He and Mr. Joe have fairly close to one another birthdays. Were you aware of that, Mr. Black, that Mr. Dust's birthday is just a few days after yours?
I was not.
Yes, Virgos, baby. Oh, I love chatty catties. We've got a few of them in my house, actually. Well, all of the catties in my house are chatty. I know, that's so exciting, Amanda. It's basically like you guys are moving from like a room to like a full-on studio, or even slightly bigger. Well, definitely slightly bigger footage-wise than a studio apartment. Started the 3rd. Okay, so like at the very end of the week, and then of August, I was like, it's so confusing how early stuff gets. Um, it used to be the end of August, early September, and then these parts, it made sense to me where I lived. They moved it earlier because a lot of years we had so many snow days and lost some time. But at the beginning, when I started school a zillion years ago, if you had those snow days, you just went into school way, way, way into June, right? And still had the same start date.
School usually starts in September here.
Now, but you guys do trimesters, right? Not semesters? Or is that just university?
University does semesters. Yeah, regular school does trimesters. That's correct.
So, Amanda, I don't know if you want a reading or not. You don't have to get one. I owe you one, though. So I'm just mentioning that as I sit here shuffling. They started the 16th up until this year. Find out why they started so early. Yeah. Maybe they anticipate a lot of missed days from COVID, and they're building it in on the year. I bet it's somehow related to that. In my state, it's been on the news, not in my city, but in my state, they just passed something at some of the school in one school district about adding corporal punishment back into the curriculum. So it's an option now for the teacher to strike your children with a paddle if they are misbehaving. By 1 minute. By 1 minute. Okay, Amanda, do you tell me, do you want like a general? Do you have a specific question? I'm just trying to decide what deck to shuffle, Ladybug. Yeah, well, there's a lot of BS going on right now. Just in general in the world. I sort of think he is spiritually the oldest, though. You have a specific question? Okay. Is it something you're comfortable asking, like, here? And if so, please let me know what it is so I can pick the appropriate tools. Okay. Okie dokie, then what is it? I'm going to put these cards back and see if I need a different deck. Is that really? That's a yes or no question. And you're owed 20 minutes. Do you really just want like a Rod's question? Do you have a lot of dairy, Amanda? We started talking about dairy. I mean, we can answer that question too with the rods real quick if that's something you really are curious about. Because they immediately started talking about dairy. And it wasn't like they didn't show me you like going crazy on all kinds of dairy, but they were like sort of trying to say that there's one type. I don't know if it's like ice cream or cheese sticks or whatever it is, but you have one type that you're just all about that. And they're talking about reducing dairy, lots of dairy. Okay, but there is something, right? There's something that's like the primary thing, right? Where it's like an ice cream fiend or a yogurt fiend or something. And they're recommending a couple of things. Like they're recommending reduction of dairy. It's creamer. Okay. So they're recommending the reduction of dairy or like trying something different. Like I saw a goat. So to me, that's always like a representation of maybe trying a goat milk product, which is almost always also a sign of allergies in the gut, which can certainly manifest in the sinuses and ears and eyes and that kind of stuff. but they definitely were like saying it doesn't have to go completely because you are somebody that over the years have has given up a plenty of habits and pleasures that you have enjoyed, and they don't want to take everything from you, but they were showing the option for replacing things with other things. They were showing about like if you consumed a whole bunch of dairy, like okay, so if you had a giant cup of coffee with like a shit ton of creamer, then you need to make sure you have, they're saying something like more than 8 ounces, more than an 8 ounce glass of water afterwards. Up on the TV, that's terrifying. To be up on a big TV. I snorted. That's terrifying. Yes, you have to what, Amanda? Running my fingers. I have like 5 cups of coffee a day with creamer. Yeah, I gave stuff up. Yes, yeah, I could relate. Blah, 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 blah. So yeah, so they were like not recommending you get rid of it, but like they were showing me like they were showing. I don't even know. I don't know like if how different like gelato is from ice cream when it comes to dairy quantities, but like they were showing me like replacing ice cream with gelato, or um, like replacing um, trying goat products, so goat cheeses and things like that. I didn't see anything like soy or almond or anything like that. So to me, it seems to me like you could still be on things that are actual lactose based things. Yeah, I love ice cream too. I have a big ice cream problem when it's in the house. I'm trying to figure out how they could show me any other advice about dairy stuff, because that's sort of specific, but they started talking about it themselves. They're also saying you should wear a mask when you dust, lady, especially in the new space. When you're working in the new space, you should wear a mask, just because you're having like sinus and respiratory things that are like basically all of like the cilia and things in there are agitated and inflamed, and so anything you can do to like cut back on inflammation would be helpful. Okay, you want to do Brianna thing. So let me see. It's so funny. Every time you bring up um, specifically, I believe it's her. They always show me this one very specific tarot deck, which is interesting to me. The Wandering Star Tarot every time. Oh, you are allergic to dust. Okay, I'm starting to shuffle. Um, yeah, so you should be doing more precautionary things, especially when you're cleaning and dusting and helping with the new space. Out in the garage, there's a lot of dust there. There's going to be paint fumes. I think at least that's what it looks like to me based on what I'm seeing. And then um, you also live in a sandy, dusty, dry environment too. Do you have a good humidifier? Do you have a decent humidifier? I know for sure they're talking about getting a bigger one or a better one for the bigger space that you're going to move into. Like they're showing that loud and clear, but do you have one now? No humidifier. Yeah, you need a humidifier, babes. Because they showed me like one of the bigger ones, there's the little ones that a lot of us have, like, that we put on when we're sick or whatever. But they're showing me like the bigger ones, um, that are like almost like floor units, or sort of look like they're just bigger. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about, and usually more like rectangular box shaped. And they were talking about that. Ooh, that's a great idea, Claudia. I missed what brings out the beast in pics. Hold on a second. Bullshit. They're also showing me, Amanda, like if you even tried, you might try switching to like acidophilus milk. I know that they sell a lot of different, a lot of the major milk brands sell, like, when you're in the grocery store, an acidophilus infused milk. A lot of the different brands do it. Anderson Erickson for sure has a really good one. And I don't know that they always have creamer, but like, for example, one of my grandmothers believed in it so much, and she loved her creamer, that she would pre-mix like half and half with her acidophilus, in a little container in her fridge, so that she could still have the full taste of creamer, but that she could get the good gut, um, probiotic and prebiotic from the acidophilus milk as well, and it helped a lot. I'll send you pictures. Yeah. Yeah, you do. And I mean, look, I'm not going to go after the smoking. I was a smoker for a long time. And I know firsthand that when you have allergies that are extreme and you quit smoking, it gets really bad for a couple, like almost 2 years sometimes, because normally when you're smoking, a lot of people with severe allergies smoke to feel better, and they don't even know consciously that that's what they're doing, but it paralyzes, the hairs, the cilia and stuff like that, and it helps our bodies not react as extremely to our allergens as they do without being paralyzed by all of the things in cigarettes. And so sometimes it's actually way more miserable to quit, and they don't explain that ahead of time very often because they want people to quit.
What is acidophilus?
So acidophilus is just one of the very many different types of probiotic, and so it's just like a probiotic culture that they add to the milk. And for whatever reason, again, there's so many different names for probiotic, but that particular one, I guess gets, is doesn't like really jump out at you. Like, you don't really taste a change in the milk. It doesn't.
Oh, so it doesn't taste
Taste.
the change of the milk in
Oh no, it
any
still
big
tastes like
way.
normal milk, and it, it's really good for your gut. A lot of times, just like, when they recommend, like if a baby's having a hard time with formula and breast milk and they're having like allergies, just like they would often used to recommend like goat's milk in those scenarios, they also could recommend, hey, try some acidophilus milk, as long as the kiddo's, of course, old enough to be drinking non-mothery milk. Me three, lady. And the gut, because we all have a stomach brain, and it's responsible for so much more. I mean, they're learning more every day, but they don't know. Now, okay, remind me, is she the one that goes by Sunny, that wants to be called Sunny, as I'm shuffling this energy into this deck? Anybody else that is going to want a reading, just let us know so that we can account for you on the list. Oofed. That's Ashley. Okay. So Brianna goes by Bree. She was one of the first people I from online from this group of people online that I did a prayer drawing for, actually, from talking to you in the aqua room, the aqua tarot lady. Ashton says Dalton see mom at their house. Oh, Ashton says Dalton sees mom at their house. I'm not even sure if he understands what she's talking about when she asked him. Also trying to find a beekeeper locally. I got real honey on Sunday. His 8-year-old loved my purple lion, so she got it. Yummy honey. Brianna. Okay. So do you just want me to start off, Amanda, by doing a general on you and Brianna? Is that how you would like it to go? Like to see where things are from both, how, the status of things now, and then ask questions from there? Is that fair enough? Okay. So let's see. This is almost shuffle. Okay, so I want to call down all the archangels, the angels, the guides, all those that are of the light and from the light of heaven and from heaven, all those that want our higher and greater good, all those that understand our purpose and how our purpose is linked together. In this particular case, we also really would love to hear from the angels, archangels, light worker types, from both Amanda and Brianna's lives, so that we can better see what's going on between. Now, is it Brianna or Brianna? I don't want to. Brianna is number 1. Brianna is number 2. So you can just give me a 1 or a 2, please, so I stop messing up her name. Two. Brianna. Okay. Brianna. Okay, so again, guides, this is for Brianna and Amanda. An overview on their relationship and recommendations thereafter. Okay, so that deck feels almost well shuffled, and they're saying I need to have the rods ready, and I need to have one other deck. What deck is it? Mother. Of course it is. Of course it is. Let's shuffle this. Okay, again, this is for Amanda and Brianna, about their relationship and what's going on in it and how it can be improved or will it improve, that kind of stuff. Please, we would like to get the energy into these cards for Amanda and Brianna, an overview of their relationship, mother and daughter. One more? No, they're good. Okay, that was speedy delivery, Mr. McFeely. Okay, here, let's see here. Get the rods out. Okay, do I have a little stone? Yes, I do, to put there for the rods. Let's pray about the rods first. Okay. Say a prayer for the rods first. Dear God, thank you so much for all of these amazing tools. Please send down our archangels and angels and guides to work with us We only ever want to work with those that are of the light and from the light of heaven and from heaven. Please watch over and protect all of us around us in healing, protective energy and light. Thank you again for these tools and the connectedness. Please help any information be for the higher and better good of everyone involved. And thank you so much for these tools. I'll probably ask again, but just to get them calibrated. Oh, you guys are here really quickly. Is that true? Yes, thank you. Okay. My first really important question. Do you love God and all of the other names for God? Yes. If I started to use the word source for God, would that be something okay with you guys? Yes. Okay. In your opinion, is the word God better? No. Is the word source better? Neutral? Okay. Is it better for me because it resonates with me? Yes. Okay. Thank you so much. Are we at this moment speaking to Archangel Raphael or reps from his? Nope. Okay. Thank you so much. At this moment, are we speaking to Archangel Michael and those? Nope. Okay. At this moment, are we in connection with Archangel Gabriel and those in his group? Yes. Okay. And then, am I accurate when I say I feel another archangel that's probably from Amanda's? Yes. Okay. Would that be Jophiel? Yes. Amanda, have I said Jophiel to you before? I think I have, right? That's one of your archangels. I just don't know enough about Jophiel, but they come up a lot, I think, when you're around. Is Jophiel one of the archangels that? Yes. Okay. Thank you, guides. Yes. Okay. I apologize, Jophiel. I always forget not that you exist, but what you do and who you are. Before we get started, is Andrew going to be around Amanda during this reading? Yes. Okay. Oh, and I can't remember that older lady's name with the dogs, the grandmother. Yes. Okay. Are there any other spirit family members that are planning on attending at this time? Nope. Okay. Is it okay if we put the rods down now and use the cards? Yes. If I was Amanda, sitting facing whatever direction I'm facing, can you use both rods to point where Andrew is in the room in relation to Amanda? He's directly to your left, Amanda. Andrew's going to be sitting to your left or standing to your left. Beulah. Is that angels? Is that who we were? Yes. Okay. Thank you for your yes. Now, is Beulah as close in proximity to Amanda as Andrew is right now? No. Okay. I didn't think so. Is she still, though, in attendance for this reading? Yes. Okay. Using both rods, could you please point, if I were Amanda facing wherever she's facing, could you use both rods to point to where Beulah is right now in relation to where Amanda is sitting? So Beulah is just, she's in front of you, to the right a little bit, and probably like, guides, what do you think? Is it more than 8 feet away? No. Is it somewhere between 5 and 8 feet away? Yes. Okay. Thank you guys so much. So Beulah's in your space and she's with you. Where the heck did I put that stone? Here it is. Okay. And she's like in front of you and a little bit to the right and like 5 to 8 feet away. And then Andrew, like either sitting or standing exactly like on your left. Okay, Joe, can you start? Do you have a timer?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to start for Amanda and Brianna.
Okay, time starts now.
Thank you. They're crowded in there. Okay, guys, can we see the general reading on the state? Right now, I'm going to ask for the general reading on the state of the relationship between Brianna and Amanda. These are inverted. Let's see what they are. This one. Back is inverted. Okay. That's interesting. Okay. Okay. 25, right, guys? Yes, okay. So that's just our jumping off point. Okay. Thank you. Lots of king energy. 2 out of 5 cards. There's 2 major arcana, 2 and 2 kings. So that's interesting. This is a general read here. Hold on here. Okay, I was reading and scrying. Sorry, I gotta look up and see what's going on here. Okay, all right. So, um, this very first just drop of cards, okay, seems to almost be like advice instead of like I thought we were going to just get sort of a general picture, and it is a little bit, but it's more like advice for you initially. So, it sort of starts by saying, this has been a long, drawn out scenario. This has been made so much more complicated by interference of other people who have heavily misrepresented both of you to one another. We're aware that you have been heavily misrepresented, by their grandmother. But she heavily misrepresents them to you when you do hear things as well. And so because of that, there's such an entangled emotional mess, and it's hard to know in the scenario you guys both have, for both of you and your daughter, to know, you both sort of seem to have an awareness that you've been, both of you, lied to and misrepresented. And so there's a lot of genuine, complicated mess between the two of you. That's real mess that you both participated in. But then there's all this other jumble of nonsense that you both are very aware of being created by someone else and not very rooted in reality. But it's created a lot of extra noise around, your relationship, the energy of both of you, and especially the both of you when you're together, energetically speaking. And so even though you both know there's a lot of BS, it's hard to tell what's real and what isn't when it's stuff that's gone on for so long and there's been so much interference. So it's hard for anyone, either of you, to sort of figure out a jumping off point for starting to heal, or to even how to approach one another, because it's just like you guys were metaphorically thrown into a dollhouse, and then somebody just kept turning upside down and turning it right side and turning it upside down and turning it right side, and now you really don't know where the ceiling or the floor or the door is. So how the heck do you know where to start? So I think that because of that, that's why they started off with advice for starting. So they're advising in your case that you do some like very serious, like they're showing like almost like journaling, or at least like list keeping. Whether that's literally you writing in a notebook with a pen or typing into your phone's notebook, it doesn't matter. Or if you just want to make little short video recordings of yourself talking things through with yourself, also useful. But they're advising that because it's a convoluted mess, that you try and for a little while do some writing and thinking about things, and separate facts from feelings. So they really want you in the beginning of this process to stick with things that you at least believe are facts, in terms of things that have gone wrong genuinely between the two of you, the ways in which you wronged her, the ways in which she wronged you, some other just facts that you know about each other or about yourself and her. Like if you literally, like they're showing me, you literally make a list, that has your name, and then you list all things about yourself that aren't even necessarily related to this relationship, but just both a list of positive and negatives all in the same list about who you are right now, not who you were, who you are right now. Like, what your interests are, where you are in terms of adulthood, things that are important to you. Just write about who you are, and then write a list of what you know about her. Start from there. And they're saying then, like if it has to be a series of paragraphs, they don't care, but they really want you to just start off with facts about things. My name is this, I am this many years old, I was born at this time, I look like this, her name is this, she is this many years old, she was born at this time, she looks like this, my interests are X, Y, and Z, her interests are X, Y, and Z. So you start off literally like So you can, just as if you were like your own psychologist taking a case study of notes and separating the emotional quotient, right? And then, include in there all of the wonderful feelings you've ever had about her. And thoughts, I think, are more important than feelings, but all of the stuff you've ever thought like that she really excels at, where her strengths are, where her weaknesses are, the things you found adorable about her when she was little, any questions you have now about that you would love to have answered about what's going on in her life, just in general, like who are her friends, what is her favorite food, what is her favorite color, what are her favorite pair of shoes, that kind of stuff. And then, just really write out everything, but try to stick to facts to start off. So then you have, yourself two little lists or two little sets of writing, one for Amanda and one for Brianna, that shows you two people, just a fact and information sheet, and start there, and start with little things, like, and by which I mean tell yourself or tell the universe, it's almost like manifestation. You write down like the questions that you have about her now, only positive stuff, right? Don't think about how are we going to fix this big old tangle mess. Just like, these are the top 5 things I would really like to know about her, that are don't get into anything complicated, just favorite book, favorite band, that kind of stuff. And write down anything positive you can remember, to all positive memories. And so they're saying start there. And anytime it feels like it's going to get hyper emotional, like you feel like you really need to like purge some feelings, it's not like that's a bad thing, but don't write that on this piece of paper. If you have to go write it on a different piece of paper or feel it out somewhere else, that's fine. But on this piece of paper, just leave it all like an information sheet and let the emotional confusion go somewhere else, so that you guys can live on, at least start off. They're like showing you start off by living on the paper without all of the mess, because your mom can't come in and scribble on that piece of paper, and so you can keep these and keep a running list and do that for a little bit of time. The temptation here for both of you, right, is to go to anger, because that's self-protective. You've both grown up in environments where self-protection was really important. And so when you get emotionally torn up by your separation with each other, you both want to go to anger, because it is a safer place to be than just absolute, being devastated. And so really, really resist anger if you can while you're doing this project. And if you can't, walk away and put your anger in another notebook, put your anger into some kind of art or something. They're talking about, if you really start doing things like this, like having these lists, or having, what do they call it? Like a manifestation board, like a collage that you make that shows like all of the things you want in to be within the mother-daughter relationship with her. But not just like generic, not just like, oh, mothers and daughters go shopping, but no, very specific things you would really, really feel in your gut you would love, love, love to do with her. Hold on, let me see what's happening. And they say that healing is, a distinct possibility. Thank you, Joe. They say healing is a distinct possibility, but it's going to be slow moving at first. It sounds to me like they really want you to get your head aligned, so that anytime you're train yourself, so that anytime you think of her, it doesn't just automatically bring up all of the mess. It starts to come to the point where it brings up these lists of things that you know about her, or how pretty her eyes are, or something nice she did for her sister one time, or something silly she did as a baby. Like they want you to train your brain to when you think of her, think of that stuff first, because then it'll progress so fast. You always do things fast, Amanda. Like you may it may be something you've agonized, whatever it is, something you've agonized over for months, weeks, years, whatever it is. But when you decide, girl, we've all in this room seen you decide to make changes or to try and help someone else. And when you decide, the switch turns and you go for it. And the improvements in the energy around your life, like, is so fast once you take action. We've all seen it. And so they're just saying, put all your ducks in a row on paper so that you can start straightening out your head to exclude all the white noise of your mother, or black noise, whatever you want to call it, gray noise, when you think about your daughter. That way, as things speed up, because they will always do with you, when you get an opportunity or a window to communicate directly with Brianna, you will be carrying in a different set of energy. You won't be lugging around that emotional backpack of hot mess that you carry anytime you're around her, because it's a mixture of guilt and confusion and anger at your mother. No. Like, you need to be able to be in a place where you see her and you recall in your brain this list of things, and even if she's not there, if she's not in that place, you just coming at her with the energy of you seeing her in a dance recital when she was 3, when you look at her, that's going to change everything around the two of you. They want me to pull from this deck. Hold on a second. Vision board. Thank you, Claudia. I knew somebody would know what it is. Yeah. Okay. So they wanted me to pull from the mother deck, right? 10 of Pentacles was first out of the gate, right? Which is happy family, happy united family. So they're saying, please, you just realize it is possible. I think you often wonder if it's even something that is even possible at this point, and it is. It 100% is. Page of Swords. Yep. The Queen of Swords. And the Hierophant. Yep. Okay. So, they're saying basically, stop wondering if it's possible to remedy, and if you'll ever have a happy relationship with her. You absolutely can. And you have to get the white noise of everybody other than the two of you, or if you're doing this with someone else, if you're doing this with your best friend or your another daughter or whatever, whoever you're working on stuff with, you just got to get everyone else's white noise out of there, and know 1,000% what you think, and then work on what you feel, because you're going to notice what you think and what you feel are so totally different, because someone else has messed with the feelings in this thing from minute one, and that's so confusing. So when you know what you think about it, and then when you go into your feelings to work through it on your own, even, you'll be like, wait, no, that's not right. Like, I have a whole notebook full of what I think about this, and this feeling does not match that reality. And you'll be able to work with that much faster. You also need to realize that you hear this voice, better or worse. It's not better. I shouldn't even say for better or for worse. For worse, anytime you're around your older children, you hear the voice of that woman telling you what kind of mother you are. That's not the kind of mother you are, and you know that on a rational level. But when we've had trauma, and when we feel insecure about our relationships with people that are enormously important to us, we're gonna echo back all of the bullshit that we hear from morons, and that's what happens. Like, it's like your heart rate, like, as soon as you're even near them, and by near them I even mean like texting or on the phone or whatever, your heart rate goes up, and you like hear this echo in your head about you being like a shoddy mother or something along those lines. And they're like, no, you're not that at all. You're the queen. You're a queen mother. Perhaps you haven't always been a perfect mother, but that doesn't exist. None of us will ever achieve that. And you have first of all, come a long way, baby, but you didn't start off nearly so badly as people have led you to believe. So Then they're also saying, okay, they're saying too, um, remind yourself when you get into that headspace or when in your notes or whatever, you need to write down too the things that you've done specifically with this daughter to mother her, the loving mother things you've done, right? Just facts though, not like, and I did this and you ignored me. No, just like I did this one Christmas to try and go and find this for her, or I did this at this point in life. Remind yourself all of the wonderful things you did as her mother and all the wonderful things you've done as any of their mothers. We all know that you're a fantastic mother to Bethany, for sure. And we all know that people learn as they go, but you need to remind yourself who you are, because your emotions are so tangled about this that you start hearing all of the bad things. And this reading now officially has 4 major arcana cards in it. So like these are big things that I mean, of course it's your child, but I mean they're big things where if you can crack the code on these issues within the confines of this particular relationship, you can then use that same method that is going to work. It will work as long as you don't let the voice, the emotional voice that wants to internally destroy you, interfere. If you don't let that interfere, you say, not today, voice, it's going to work. And then it's going to like be the key that you can use to unlock and heal so many other things that have gone down for you in life. I need to look at the hard time lately because my oldest told me she had to take time off college because of my mom. I'm trying to be great. You are a great mom. You are a great mom. Yeah, your oldest had to take time off college because of your mom. Yeah. See, and yeah, I'm hearing them. They're literally saying, of course, that is so complicated and for better and mostly worse, your mom's really interfered. But that's one of those things where it's like, because it's something due to your mom, it's 25 more times triggering than if you had just heard like, oh, she's had to take some time off college because of work or because of focus or because of, if it was any other reason, it wouldn't have been as anxiety racking as it is for you because your mom is a trigger. Yeah, see. And see, that's the thing too, though. You are also superimposing your issues with your mom over what their relationship with her and assuming that it's the same. Now, I'm sure there's some similarities and there are some things that have screwed them up as well about her, but it's not all going to be the same. They were very different, y'all very different people. And so that's really sad. And we can see, at some point if there's advice for that as well, but you just have to eliminate your mom from this conversation in your own head. She has, be gone before someone drops a house on you too, right? Like you have no dominion here. I'm getting my head straight about me and my daughters, and you exist in my life and you're my mother. So at the core, I love you no matter what's going on, but you've messed this all up. And the one place I can control is in my energy field and in my own brain. And so I'm sweeping you out, Mom. I got to sweep you out so that I can just focus on this thing. I'm sure you are. I'm sorry that you're crying, though. Hold on a second here. Put this down. Okay, guys, really quick. I know that none of us talk to her anymore. Yeah. Let's see here. Okay, guys, can you show us? We want to do one side of this real quick. That's Amanda, and one side that's Brianna. And so first, guides, we want to see like 3 or 4 cards for Brianna's side, please. Brianna's side about her perception of her relationship with Amanda. Just 3 or 4 cards. Please and thank you. Okay. All right. Can we see then, please, a few cards over here on Amanda's side? Yeah. That's interesting. Okay. And then guides, just can we do maybe 2 or 3 for the human, for Amanda's mom, the human wall between the two? Okay. 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 Well, the good thing is, hold on, let me see what this says. Well, I mean, yes and no, right? That's funny though, because it definitely showed it in the middle there. But what it's about her, Brianna, just really quickly, because I know Joe has been nice and is watching the time, and I blab on. But um, what it shows about her is, first of all, she is now old enough to see that there's a family cycle that goes way back before you, way back before your mom, way back. And she's old enough to be able to perceive that there is a legacy of dysfunction that's come down, both in terms of people making bad choices, but also in terms of just health, like mental health, that didn't used to be, there didn't used to be so much awareness in society about this stuff, and there certainly wasn't the kind of help that people needed. And it's only been in the last 50 years that there's been any kind, and a lot of that's still been dangerous and precarious. So she sees that it's a sort of a combination of health challenges that went untreated for generations, and then some bad choices, largely in terms of like partners, like male counterparts, bad choices in terms of those people, like who was brought into the scenario. And she really, really, really in her head, right? You see it all over social media right now, the young generation of women that are talking about being cycle breakers. So right now she's really fixated with the idea of being a cycle breaker, of being someone that understands that this predates even like her caretakers that she, especially as a teenager, loved to blame. But she is seeing more about it, and wanting to be she wants to be a cycle breaker, and she seems to understand that education, um, whether that's literally formal education or it's just self education on these issues, are going to be so essential in order to help do those things she wants to do. Um, but she does. She's a lot more hopeful than I expected her to be. She is a girl that, at least deep down inside, she believes in, the guiding light of the universe or God or source. She believes that magic can happen. She holds out hope for healing. And I don't know if that's something you can see about her, especially, from your perspective when it's all been a tangled mess. But she does. She really, really holds out hope for mending a lot of situations, but especially with you, because she can see how so much of it was out of your hands at this point. It still doesn't mean it's not a mess, and it doesn't mean she knows how to approach it, but she really wants to. Um, she also knows it's very, very much a matter of choices, um, in terms of choosing to pursue mental health care, choosing once you have it to stick to that protocol, um, choosing to go a different direction. And she understands that because there are health things that run in the family that she has, that those choices are just as hard for her. Like she feels that, you know, now that she's older, she understands how a lot of the mistakes that have been made by the elders in her family could be so easy to make, because it's a split-second decision sometimes that really can mess everything up. So, but she has big hope for family reconciliation, specifically with you. Um, and you present as somebody, who's been raising your standards just for yourself, for what you want out of life, for what you want out of a day, any given day. You want now to pursue any happiness that day has to offer, instead of fixating on the things that aren't there or the things that make you sad. There's been a huge, significant shift in your life, and you know, and the pursuit of happiness and things that make you happy. And then, of course, again, it still does warn, just try not to be tempted by the need to have anger protect you when these things are so scary and nerve-wracking. That's the only warning they give you. And then it's interesting you said bipolar, because the only one that really presented as fully bipolar is your mom. And as your friend, I'm somebody that, like, of course, carries anger for her, but I also can see very clearly in these cards she's been a pretty confused person a lot of the time. And the only way in her life that she's ever felt like she had any kind of control or dominion is, when she would get way too controlling and manipulative, because she felt like um, so lost. And she perceived all of the people that she'd known that had power over her, right, as people that just had power. They didn't earn it. They just were given it, and you did what they said. And so when she has had desperate times of confusion and not knowing what to do because of her health and her head and stuff like that, she just defaults to what she saw other people do, which has been a very tragic mistake that she's made in her life. And it doesn't seem to be that she's fully aware of it. Like, she's aware that she's made mistakes and that there's some stuff that's definitely her fault, but she seems really confused by the source of it, or how to remedy it. And they also show that, just in terms of her specifically, you never know who you're going to get, because from minute to minute it's a different person almost. And so, of course, she's like this wall between the two of you. But if you take out that wall, first of all, the wall is just confused and effed up. But It's more like she's lost than anything else, and that doesn't mean forgive her, or that doesn't mean you have to be okay with it. It just means she's lost. She's lost the plot, you know. But the two of you, there's a lot of really good hope there. Wow, what, my dear? Trying to see what Joe's been texting because he lets me know. Okay. Um, yeah, your mom. Was that accurate? Is that what you mean by wow? Or was it new information, or was it way off? Accurate. Okay. It's sad. I feel empathy for everyone. I feel empathy even for your mom, and I don't want to, you know, because I'm an Amanda fan, um, but she's just she had mental health issues that in her generation went completely unchecked, that I think she was abused for having when she was a kid. And so she just saw the way they utilize their power as quote unquote parenting, and those are the choices she made when she was confused and didn't know what else to do. Okay, so Joe, who is very good at being patient, even though I've asked him to help me with boundaries, we're way past time, of course, because I talk too much. Do you have any clarifiers that you need to ask Amanda? No, it's my fault. It's not your fault, Amanda. I say 20 minutes on the clock, right? And I have asked him to help me because I'm bad at boundaries, especially once I start connecting to the guides, because I don't have no concept of time during that. Okay. Okay, good. If you do wind up having clarifiers, as always, you know how to text me and find me. And I'm always willing to, do follow ups, because I understand that not every things like that cannot be resolved in one read. But they are convinced that journaling is something you need to start doing. Um, Probably for both of your older daughters, actually, but they're saying to me now, literally right now, they're like, don't say that. She needs to do one at a time and not get overwhelmed. So start with Brianna and focus on that so it doesn't get overwhelming. Yeah, it's probably why, just don't forget, Andrew and Beulah are there. I think they're there a lot, but that's partially probably why they told me that they were there, so you knew, like, you have BFFs literally in the room holding your hand while you deal and think about this stuff and sort through it. And at some point in the future, we probably should talk about the other daughter. Um, so thank you, Joe.
You're welcome.
I'm hearing, this is not my advice, I'm just hearing you can only deal with the information that you have at the time, right? And any decision you made when your girls were younger were based on what was going on in your life at the time, the misinformation people were force feeding you, your own personal confusions, and the information that you had about the picture as a whole. You could only, and you know so much more now, but you've got to give yourself some slack. You didn't know a lot of that stuff then. A lot of that stuff you didn't know. You just got to remind yourself, I made those decisions based on things that I know different about now. But at the time, I didn't know, or I wouldn't have made those choices. That's exactly right. You did what you thought was best. And that means that you were very actively loving your children, even to sometimes the point of it hurting you in a very significant way, but you still loved them enough to make really hard choices that you didn't like because you thought that's what was best for them. Now, no one can do better than that. They can deal with the information they have in the moment, and they love to the length that they can possibly love to. I do loved them very far. I know that that's really hard to deal with, but also, um, you know, you do have to also remember that they came in from non-physical to live a certain life that they decided on too. And some of that stuff, some of the stuff that happened was probably some to a certain degree of the lessons that they came here to learn and participate in and be a part of. And um, so while of course as a parent, like, we're always going to feel totally responsible for everything that happens, um, they came in to have their own life experiences too. And maybe the whole point eventually at the end of the day or week or month or whatever will be that you guys came here with the intention of learning how to heal together and breaking the cycle, because it might take all of you. And people that don't come up against much adversity don't really know how to make change in the world or change in themselves or change in their family because they haven't had enough lived experience. And and so in some ways, I'm not saying any of it's right or good, okay, but I'm just saying maybe they came in really wanting to make a big splash, and in order to make a big splash you have to have a lot of experience to know how to do that. Oh, I'm so glad you have been talking to Sunny. I think we did a she was the last time we read a daughter, and I thought that, yeah, that's good. But yeah, any follow-up questions when if you have, or if you when you journal about it, right? um Write down any questions and we can do them another time. FaceTiming too, even, that's awesome. That's awesome. Did Pixie bail? I'm not sure. I wouldn't blame her. It's late. Thank you, Joe.
You are welcome.
Now FaceTime, I'm gonna sound even older than I am. FaceTime is on the iPhone, right?
Yeah, that's an Apple thing.
Pix is here. Oi. Yeah, I mean, I know, like, that made my first reaction to you saying typing that, right, was like frustration and anger. But honestly, right behind that was like empathy for how lost your mom is. That doesn't make her saying that okay, but it makes my heart sad that she's that lost. Messenger. I've been I'm not going to talk about it too much on here, and thank everybody for respecting that actually. But I have mother problems as well. and father problems right now. But I think the mother problems are one of the core issues. She said she was the reason she wanted to do it. Oof, 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 oof. Yeah, that's tough. But also, the good thing is that these are rebel girls. So, like, I understand that she's like, oh, I got to do this because of this person. And then she thinks, now, wait a second. Why would I let somebody make that decision for me? But I'm so glad you guys are talking. Somebody's talking, some guide is talking about you guys may have an in-person get together. And if you do, two things. They want to make sure that your first in-person get together is just the two of you. Just the two of you, not hubby, not even Bethy, right? No one else, unless, of course, if Sunny wanted to bring a significant other or something, right? But they're saying you might get an opportunity to actually do something in person, and they were recommending that if that happens, that the first time it's just you that turns up, and that yeah, see, her girlfriend was in that reading, if you recall, that reading we did on her a long time ago. Like, the girlfriend was sort of somewhat new and significant and all this stuff, but they're showing it being really important that it's an activity, right? Um like, I don't know, go to a place where you can, like, paint. I mean, they showed me, like, places where you can, like, paint mugs, or um paint canvases, or even if you, like, if you guys decided to get together in the backyard somewhere, while kiddo was at school or whatever, having a project to do, a crafting project, will be really important, so that, because it will lessen the intensity of the experience, right? Having a something to look at and do with your hands will lessen the feeling, emotional potency around being in the same place. Putt putt, that's a good idea too, Claudia. Yeah, but you're exactly right. Something active, something like, yeah, they were showing a lot of crafting things. Like, I don't even know if they do that, like, color me mine, whatever nonsense anymore. But something like that, um, something crafty, or putt putt's a great idea. Um, but so that somewhere that it's quiet enough that you guys can have a conversation, but if things feel awkward, you have something else to focus on. And so if there's weird silence, it doesn't feel weird because there's an activity. And then they showed a second time, and the second time, it being you expressing how very important it is to you that she and Bethany get to spend a little time together. So that I think that's something that she is going to want at a certain point. But it's really important that the first time is literally about you showing up, no one else, just you, whenever that opportunity comes up. And then the second time, they're saying you and Bethany. Don't bring a posse because it's going to make her feel weird. I have a feeling that your mother had a tendency to posse up, whether that was with another sibling, and use that sibling, as a, group, develop some sort of group mentality against one person. That's one of her major primary methods. So you coming alone is really important. Right. Well, but you do. So if you showed up with Chris and you showed up with Beth, that is sort of your posse. And so, it's really, really important initially to go alone, to show, like, I'm here, and there's nothing that's going to distract me from having an experience with you. And then, if that goes well, and it looks like it will whenever that's the case, if that goes well, then the next time, only bring Bethany, or have her meet Bethany if they come to you or whatever. Yes, she does. I've seen pictures. She does look a lot like you. Let's see what people are saying. Well, who knows? Maybe it'll be something digital. Like maybe I don't know. Maybe she can come and stream with you on TikTok. Like you guys could stream together and have it just be the two of you, just being silly and hanging out that way. Well, so is her mama. So is her sister Bethany, and I assume, you know, so is her other sister as well. Their mom is pretty smart. One Motrin, two Motrin, three Motrin, four Motrin. Okay, I gotta take some medicine. And then Pix, I see that you sent a payment. So give me just a second here to pop my pills and thank you for your payment. Hold on a second. Oh my goodness. Where's my bag? Mama wants her pain meds in her mouthful. Please. Oh, is it from the ouch? Tell her we all said hello and we love her. Good night. Sleep beautifully. Thank you for stitching me on the stitch place. Hopefully we can do maybe a fun one too at some point. Now that we're figuring out how to do that stuff. But we love you. Good night. Okay, so I'm taking this med, but Pix, you can answer questions. So you sent me enough for 20 minutes. And so I don't know if you want to do like 20 minutes one topic or if you like want to do a little bit of cards and a little bit of the rod, or whatever you want to do, whatever your question is. I sort of already know what one of the topics will be, but I don't know. Like, so I know one is going to be about daughter-in-law, but like, is the other going to be about kiddo seeing ghosts? Because if I'm right, okay, if I'm right, and it's about daughter-in-law, and it's about kiddo and ghosts, I would recommend that we do a little bit of a card spread on daughter-in-law, just a little bit, and then use the rods to flush out whatever. Does that sound okay? Trying to see which deck they want me to use here. Oh, this one. Okay, wait, nope. I got my little box turned around, so I grabbed the wrong. Here we go. Okay, so angels and archangels, guides of everyone here, those that are of the light and from the light, of heaven and from heaven, please help us with this reading for Pixie, and it's sort of going to be about her daughter-in-law, and we would just really like to know what that looks like. Like, we would like to sort of know, are we asking specifically, Pix, are we going to try and ask about like if she's got a move in her future? Is that like one of the most important things to find out? Is she going to relocate? Okay. Okay, so this is for Pixie, about A and J, but about will A need to relocate? What is the picture here? Can you guys please show us a picture of A and like her state of mind at the moment on this topic, and show us a little bit about the reality that surrounds, any potential need to relocate. Please help this be for every entire and greater good. Please help it be useful. Please give us a clear-cut picture of what it looks like with A and like her, if we can see some of the reasonings, if there are going to be significant choices or changes, and if that can be helped prevented or assisted in any other way. Oh, one more shuffle. Okay, I was trying to figure that out. Okay. All right, let's start off. Okay, Joe, I'm sorry. Can you start the timer?
Okay, the time starts now.
Thank you. Okay, so guides, if we can get, I don't know, somewhere like around 5-7 cards or something about Miss Ash and what she's got going on in terms of how she's feeling and where she's headed and that kind of stuff. Okay, will Ash really need to relocate? That's the main question here. can you remind me? Yeah, I was going to ask if you can remind me of their birthdays or their signs. I feel like she's maybe fire, but I'm not sure. And I feel like he may be water from what I'm looking at, but again, I'm not sure. So that's why I want to clarify. If what I'm looking at here can be interpreted as people. Okay, so he's water. I was right. I feel like she's fire, but do you know when around when she is? Oh, is she? It's interesting. I don't know why my guts felt like she was like a Sag or a Leo or something. Oh, okay. I don't know if that makes her a Libra or a Sag. Hold on a second. I think she's a Sagittarius. Oh, okay. So she's a Scorpio. You're 1,000% right. She is a week off Sagittarius. I don't know why. When's their kiddo's birthday? Why is he fire? Because there's some. I'm trying to distinguish if this is a different person, like if there's another person here. I don't think necessarily that's the case, but I would like to clarify. Oh, he's a total Leo. Okay, that makes some sense then. He is the fire that is in their reading, and that would make total sense. Um, I don't want to get too much in her private shit, but is she off her meds? Is she on meds that she should be taking? Does she have meds she should be taking? they're saying that maybe Josh has some stuff he should be taking too. Yeah, okay. But some of them are, in her case, some of them are definitely mood stabilizers. Is that correct? Okay. All right. So, okay. So the cards, okay, the first dropped, and it's about her just generally, right? And so what's interesting is because they're young and they were young when they got together, and all of us have to learn things about relationships, and some people can sort of follow the track of, what works and what doesn't better than others of us, right? And so they had a, looks like anyway, from really early on, they had a really bad habit of being, first of all, both of them are extremely passionate people, and by which I mean that they sort of confused some of their relationship drama for romance. Um, and so, they would like have a big fight, um, and he specifically would be a person of action and be like, we're done, and he'd like run off into the night and like, not wait for a cooling off period. When this is when they were younger, but I think they still have this sort of pattern established, from a long time ago. But so for a long time anyway, he would be a decisive one and be like, we're done. If they had a hot fight, he'd go tearing off into the night to a friend's house or whatever. And then I don't know if she would sort of be a trickster elf and woo him back, or if he would calm down, and then feel like I must win her back. But it all looks very, very Streetcar Named Desire, right? It looks like Stella and Stanley, right? Where they, they would fight, and both of them would overreact. He looks like he gets a little hotter, like a little more temporary than her, but she is more vicious, by which I mean, um because her temper isn't quite as hot. She had, when she felt sort of like a young, evil, wicked young person fighting, she fought dirty, and would fight for maximum pain, right? She fought to win. They both were fighting to win, but he would sort of lose his temper and then run off and be like, we're done, and then feel really bad for that. Whereas she, a lot of times, is the one that held grudges for a lot longer, and maybe if would execute plans that took a few days. Like, there's a lot more premeditation to the shit she's done to him. But something about her childhood looks like childhood, um, has, made that even worse, made that dynamic, to her feel even more like true love, um, to really both of them. But while she's not going to admit it, she's really confused, right? And she doesn't want to say, well, gosh, I thought he'd come back again, right? Because they've played this game so many times, right? And sometimes it's lasted for a week and a half, and sometimes just 12 hours or whatever. But they played this game so many times that even though she seemed to recognize that this was a far more serious situation, she still thought, even if they both saw other people or messed around or whatever, she still thought he was coming home. She really did. And so I don't think it's something she's going to admit, but she's really confused that he, got an apartment and he's moving forward in a different direction because it is such a long established pattern that even though they're older and they were fighting differently and there's a kid involved and all this stuff, she still, even I don't even think she realized it at the time. I think in the midst of all the fighting, she sort of was like, yes, you're right, we are done. And they were both, she was doing her version of vicious, he was doing his version of temporary, right? But deep down, and maybe him a little bit too, but I didn't ask about him, so he's not as much in this reading. She really is terribly confused that he hasn't returned. And so it's almost like it's like because she thought he was coming back, there were certain actions that she could have taken to maybe settle up her household and shore it up in a way where she didn't have some of the problems she's having now, where she was like, oh gosh, we need to make a financial arrangement if he's not going to live here, where he can, be contributing to this, or we need to downsize me as well so that, whatever, so we can still co-parent. She didn't make any of these plans because she didn't think she had to. Yeah, she really loves him. She really does love him. It's just so dysfunctional and started off so early. And they did that thing, that tragic dumbass young person thing, where they mistook layers of trauma and dysfunction in how to cope with relationships and communication problems, and they viewed it as romance, right? They viewed it as, well, they had to fight so that they could have those romantic scenes where he stands outside the house and yells, Stella! And even though she's infuriated, she takes him back because true love, right? And I don't know, does he say, who is it? Somebody there says, when pigs fly. When pigs fly, when pigs fly. Is that him, or is that somebody around them that uses that phrase a lot, where then maybe one of them uses it just occasionally because they had a parent or like a close person that used that a lot? Because I'm hearing it over and over and over again, right? Like, yes. So she believed him when she would threaten, petty little things that I'm just going to find me a new boyfriend and we're just going to be done, and you're going to wake up one morning and I'm going to be moved on and you're going to be suffering. And he'd say, yeah, right, when pigs fly. And even, when they would then calm down, that's like something he would sort of say, right? And so it's like, it's dark out. Yeah. But he used to say it about leaving, right? He used to say, we have all this stuff going on, but, she would make all these threats about them needing to be separate or have other people. And he'd say, yeah, over my dead body, or when pigs fly, or whatever. So it really is like, like it's been one long night for her and she's waiting for the dawn. And she won't acknowledge it. And I don't know how long she's actually logically known it. Because she's been busy making a whole bunch of, effing noise about, all of the wrong things that are going on. And so she hasn't done a lot of too terribly conscious thinking anyway. So, but it's only been very, very, very recently that she even like thought to herself, oh, I didn't really think he was going to leave, and I don't know what the hell to do now. Okay, so I would like to know, guides, can we very specifically, and we'll use the rods too, I can hear you guys saying that, but can you show me like 3 or 4 cards that talk about potential of her moving out of town. What does it look like? Can you show us like um, if she's serious about it, if she why she's even thinking about doing it? Can you show us anything like that, and then we'll do the rest with rods, please and thank you, because we can ask questions quicker with rods. Without Ashton potentially moving away from town. Okay, so now we're blowing up with cards here, okay? Lord Love Duck. Some of it is the first thing that came up is basically she knows. She's like, oh shit, I threw it all away. Like I could have done a few things differently and maybe stopped this, or we talked him into counseling or something like this. But in the heat of my anger, I just threw all of this good stuff, the good parts of our relationship, the stuff we built. I just threw it all away. She feels like, and I think she's not wrong. I mean, of course, it takes two to tango, but she feels like she really was the one that put a lot of nails in the coffin, whereas he was sort of waiting to see what the dynamic was going to be like. And so she's like, oh shit, I threw it, I trashed it, and I didn't even know I was trashing it. So she's like, I gotta be strong, and so she's oscillating. She's oscillating between like, oh my god, I trashed it, I need to be strong now and let go of some of this so that I can think like a mom. But she still can see, like she still has this picture in her head of them as a happy family. And she very foolishly thinks that there's a potential of like an 80s movie situation where so right now it doesn't look like practical, right? It doesn't look like she's sat down and like she's a very smart girl, paper wise, especially book smart. And it doesn't look like she's sat down and done any of that. It's not like she's been like, oh, my bills are this and I need this. No. The primary energy is she does realize she messed it up. She owns her part, at least in private. I don't think she's ever going to say it out loud completely. And she realizes now, gosh, I got to be strong. But she almost feels like saying she's leaving is like the one card she has left to play, and maybe, just maybe, he'll chase her down at the airport or stop her when she's getting the rental truck. Like she still thinks, oh, maybe, like this is the drastic action that will bring forth that'll cause us both to wake up and realize, what are we doing? We're getting ready to just trash something that could still be good and mended. It would take a lot of work, but there's a lot of love there. So, I don't think she's wrong. I don't think she's wrong to think that it's a possibility, but I think she's way off if she thinks he's going to chase her down at the airport. It's sort of a delusional thing. That's why I asked about the meds. It showed right away they both were supposed to be on them. Okay, I'm going to turn on the camera, and I know that probably my lovely timekeeper, I don't know what he's texted. I'm sure.
Your legit time is up, so we going into extra time.
That's fine. Okay, we're gonna do his hard head won't go to counseling. Yeah. Okay. Let me bring this up here. Got the okay. Um Archangels, angels, and guides, those that are of the light and from the light, of heaven and from heaven. Please help us utilize these rods. I only ever want to work with those that are of the light, from the light, of heaven and from heaven. Please protect us and watch over us and help guide us in our questions and show us the answers you're allowed to show us. And please help us clarify just a few more things for A and J. And then we do intend to ask about little boy um, and his night disturbances too, if that's okay. And then we'll move on. Okay, here. Wait for this to load here. Are you guys already here? Right here, aren't you? Boom. Yes. Thank you so much for that. Yes. Um, okay. My first question, as always, is: do you love God? Yes. And if I use the word source, do you recognize that as God as well? So yes. Okay. So we love source. We are very neatly controlled of these rods. Is this a new angel that I'm working with at the moment? Florida. Okay. I'm I'm not insulting the other people and their use of the rods. You guys are all fantastic. I can just tell this is a different person or a different angel group. Okay. Sorry for me wiggling. Can you please show us what a yes answer is going to look like? Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm so glad that that's stayed consistent for me, but that's because you guys are the ultimate collaborators. Can you please show us what a no answer will look like? Thank you so much. Okay. So the first question, because it's got to be yes and no, is uh, first of all, I'm hearing it, so I'm just going to go ahead and ask it because she must need to see it. Um, you're saying, am I correct when I hear you say that Pixie's mom is with her right now, right next to her? Yes. Okay. And then I can't tell if it's grandma or great grandma. So is that, I think it's grandma. So I'll ask, is that great grandma also next to Pixie right now? No. Okay. Sorry, I'll fix these so that okay. Is that Pixie's grandmother that's also there? Yes. And that is, of course, her mother's mother, correct? Yes. Okay. They wanted you to know that they're here for the readings. Okay. So, guides, if I were Pixie and I'm sitting here facing whatever direction I'm facing, could you please use both rods to point to where Pixie's mama is in relation to her at this moment? So cameras sometimes are inverted. She is basically to your left and a little bit in front. So I don't know, is she? But anyway, she's not like directly to your left. She's a little bit in front of you and on the left. Thank you, guides. Can I confirm? Is she sitting down? Yes. Okay, that's what it looked like. And then could we please see in relation to where Pixie is right now, where Pixie's grandmother is in relation to where Pixie is right now? Okay. So I don't know where you're sitting. Thank you guys so much for that. I don't know where you're sitting, but so your mom is like here to your left, just a little bit of in front of you, and your grandmother is here to your right, just a little bit in front of you. They're both here. Um, oh, I sort of, but I know why. So, okay, is it okay, guys, if we ask some questions about Miss Ashton and her intentions? Yes. Okay. So, okay, the major primary question is does Ashton feel 100% certain that she wants to move away from that town? No. Okay. Does Ashton feel 100% certain that she has to move away from that town for survival or something? No. Okay. Thank you. Does Ashton feel more than 50% like she wants to leave that town? No. Does Ashton feel more than 50% like she might need to leave that town to survive? No. I just heard someone say she knows you guys will help her if she needs help. But she knows that in her guts. Is that accurate, you guys? Yes. Yes. Okay. Um okay, somebody said Pix that it might require some serious patience on your part, which makes me wonder if she might wind up staying in a room where you are at some point for a little bit of time. Is that correct, you guys? Yes. Um, is that immediately though? Like, is that in the next 3 months? No. Okay, so it's nothing that you need to have stress about right now. Is Ashton in any danger of having maybe any of her utilities turned off at this very moment? Yes. I ain't judging. I'm like that with my water. So I'm not making fun of her. Now, is that, guides, is it because, is it true that Ashton does not have the money to pay those bills? Okay, that is true. Okay, that is true. Okay. Um, is Ashton in any danger of losing her house or apartment at this time? No. Okay, that's good to know. Does Ashton have the funds she needs to properly feed herself and her child? Yes. Okay. I have a feeling that's because other people like Pixie help with that sometimes. Yes. Is that true, Pix? That's true. You've helped with like groceries and stuff. I'm going to move on, but I'll wait to see. I'll see whenever it comes up. But so, um, okay. Uh, guides, did I interpret the cards correctly when I saw that Ashton thinks threatening leaving might spur Josh into professing his love? Yes. Okay. Now, I know that they're fighting and that they're aging, but I also saw the patterns that they've been in for a long time. Is there any chance that Ashton is correct? Is there any chance that Josh could be suddenly motivated to beg her not to leave? Yes. Okay, so it is a possibility. So is that just completely depending on if it's an impulsive moment or not? Yes. Okay. So on the average minute to minute basis, does Josh believe he's going to be trying to reconcile with Ashton anytime soon? No. Okay. Does Josh believe in his gut that there is a chance for them to reconcile in life eventually? Yes. Okay. Does Ashton truly believe that he might pull out all the stops and do a romantic, like, stay here thing? No. Okay. So does that mean it's just her super duper wishful thinking? Yes. Okay. Does she, in her heart of hearts, believe that they're going to be reconciling anytime soon? No. Does she, in her heart of hearts, believe that they could eventually reconcile and be together? Yes. A little bit less than he believes, but she does believe it. Yeah, you have. Okay. And then I feel like this is not a bad, I don't think anything's necessarily bad, but just to clarify, little kiddo that just turned 3, um, with all of this going on, is he physically safe in his house? Yes. I mean, I already knew that answer, but I want to clarify that for everyone else. Okay. Um, is he emotionally safe in his house? No. Okay. When you guys say no and we talk about emotional safety, is he is it a severe situation right now? No. Okay. Is it mostly confusion about, I'll ask a couple questions here. Is it a little bit of confusion about where dad is? Yes. Okay. And is it a little bit of confusion about mom's sort of mood shifts? Yes. Okay. Does he feel loved by his mama? Yes. Okay, that's good. Does he feel loved by his daddy? Okay, that's very good too. Does he worry about his mom and dad hating each other? No. Okay. Does he worry or stress out about them arguing? Yes. Let's see what's being said. Yeah, you have, yes. Okay. Um, okay. Um, Guides, in your opinion, based on necessity and reality based things, do you foresee Ashton moving away from that town in the next 3 months? No. Do you see her moving away from that town in the next 6 months? No. Do you see her moving away from that town in the next year? No. Interesting. It felt like yeses, but it said no. I'm wondering what that meant. Is that, guides, is she having pressure like from her family to come to where they are? Yes. And because, is that, am I correct when you guys are showing me that she's from really emotionally tumultuous family situation? Yes. And so they're using her current situation to try and gain closeness with her. Is that correct? Yes. Okay. You do that. Okay. Um, is the financial situation for Ashton's such that in the next year she may have to move away from that city? No. Is that because Josh will figure out a way to financially assist in the situation? Yes. Okay. Okay, I'm seeing what you guys are showing me. Are you guys recommending that she files for more aid? Yes. It seems like maybe she receives a little bit of aid at this point, but she should file for more. Is that correct? Okay. And when I say file for aid, I mean, I'm talking about food stamps and things like that. Is that something that you guys understood? Guides, of course. Yes. Okay. And then, okay. So picks, um, I'm way over time, but I want to know. I want to ask about the little boy, and at bedtime. So, the main question, right, is what is, like, we're trying to figure out what disturbs him at night, and he's been told, or you've been told that he sees dead people. Is that right? And I get a little confused with the grandchildren. So Ashton and Josh's kiddo, that's Dalton, right? Is Dalton the 3-year-old? Okay. Okay. Um, angels. Are we still dealing with angels and archangels? Yes. Okay. Oh. Hmm. Okay. Um, can we ask a few questions about Dalton's nighttime? Yes. Okay. So there's been a lot of different things said from a mother that's sort of confused in general right now. Um, but angels, has Dalton been waking up in the middle of the night a lot? Yes. Okay. Does he wake up in the middle of the night every single night? No. Okay. Does he wake up in the middle of the night more than 3 times a week? Yes. Okay. When he wakes up, is he afraid? Yes. Okay. Now just to clarify, is he um, completely awake when he is talking about being afraid? Yes. Okay. So just to clarify, he is not having anything. Is Dalton having anything that's like night terrors where he's still asleep? No. Okay. Before any adult suggested it, had Dalton felt like he saw spirits, angels, or ghosts? No. Okay. Um, before any adult suggested it, and he had words for it, had he seen angels, spirits, or ghosts? Yes. Okay. Does he see them all the time? No. Does he only see Pixie's mom? No. Has he ever seen Pixie's mom in spirit form? Yes. Is she the only entity that he sees? No. Is he seeing something scary to him? Yes. Is it something that after many years of my life experience, would I find the situation scary? No. Okay. Is the situation dangerous or scary in any way? No. Oh, is he seeing his equivalent of a blue lady? Yes. Okay. So he's basically seeing, I don't know who the blue ladies are, but is he basically seeing, catching glimpses of his nighttime guardian angel? Yes. Okay. But it's startling him and making him feel a little afraid. Is that correct? Yes. Okay. And then every time he wakes up and he's upset, is it because of seeing that? No. Okay. Would you say that when he wakes up upset, more than 50% of the time, it's because he's seen an angel or some other entity? Yes. Okay. Does he see anything in guides other than sometimes seeing Pixie's mom and him seeing his angels? Does he see any kind of ghost spirit or ghost memory imprint um, on a regular basis? No. Has he seen anything like that that is something we should be concerned about? No. Other than family members that love him, has he seen any spirits outside of angels and archangels? No. Okay. Yes, yes, yes. I wonder if he sees Ashton's grandpa. Okay. Guides. Has little Dalton, has he seen Ashton's grandfather? No. I keep seeing that he's seeing basically his equivalent. I remember my blue lady when I was little. He's seeing his equivalent of a guardian angel. Is that true, guys? Yes. And that can be like a pretty bright color in the room. So if you wake up, guides, is he waking up because of angel activity? No. Is he waking up for biological reasons like needing to go pee pee and stuff? Yes. And then he catches a glimpse of his angel or other angel groups. Is that correct? Yes. Has he ever seen anything, any human memory or spirit memory that is negative, dangerous, or could be interpreted by any adult as scary? No. Okay. Pix, do you have any other questions? Because I can, in the future, I have a lot of ideas about how to help with that. But he's seeing his guardian angels. I feel really confident based on what they were showing me. And I used to really, really, really be afraid of mine because I would wake up for some other reason and they have a very bright color to them. And they often are very still because they're trying not to be disturbing or troublesome. And then that's sort of scary too. So he has seen your mom, but it's primarily he is seeing angels and positive things. And I asked about spirit memory imprints. They said no to that. They said no to any negative spirit memories. And so, of course, as a kid, it can still be very scary. But the good thing is, it's angels. So you can start talking about angels, how they love you, and how over history there's been lots of people that have seen angels that got really scared because there's nothing wrong with being scared, but that they're there because they love him. Yeah. Okay. So Joe's been really patient because he's my timekeeper. But I've been worried about little man for a while. So the good thing is now in the future, we know how to have a conversation with him. I mean, at 3, it's really hard to see that stuff and understand that. And also, if he's got a mama that's panicking and a little off her medication, she could be making it tremendously more scary because she's saying, "Did you see this and this?" and telling him scary things that haven't even occurred to him. Have you guys had him? If you guys have him draw pictures of it. Have you guys already done that? They're also saying almost like naming a pet, and I'm not trying to be insulting to the angel energies, but this was their recommendation. It's just my phraseology is bad. He should name his friendly spirit. He should name it. So that he feels like he has, if you get to name something, it feels more like ownership and like it belongs with you and to you, and you have more say so. And the angels, love all of us, but they super love children. So as long as it's not something mean, if it's silly, they'll love that. They'll love having that name. Yeah, he needs to draw a picture. He needs to name it. You guys need to tell stories about angels that like stories from the Bible or just even cutesy stories. And then, again, in the future, you and I can talk because I had a lot of experiences with my guardian angel that scared me witless when I was his age. And so the fear is real, but the good thing is there's nothing to be afraid of. That's so good. And she's not going to be leaving town anytime soon. And if she has a day where she's absolutely convinced that she's going to leave, what she needs more than anything that day is just some kind of support, because it means one of two things. It either means she's totally overwhelmed and on the part of the flux where she's like blaming herself and thinking, oh, I got to do something for my kid. I got to do something right. It's either that or she's got somebody from back home messing with her, with their brain a little bit. And so the best that can happen on those types of days is, instead of like saying, logical things, is just to be like, oh honey, your family, no matter what happens, we'll get you through it. We know you want to stick around here, and we'll do everything we can, but right now, don't even, it's not a decision you have to make right now. Let's watch TV. Yeah, it would be scary for any little kid. That's right. I can turn my camera off now because I don't like having it on. Eventually I'll get the GoPro rigged up because I'm excited about that. Yeah. She was really upset, telling me she was going to leave. Yeah. I mean, it's really hard. You're scared for all of them. And they're not in their rational states. And one of them's really little and spends so much time with you, and it would be super confusing, and you don't want him to go to that place where the other adults in the other place are not necessarily the right kind of support. Like, I understand why you'd be hyper emotional about it, but you're the only one that even comes close to being able to touch calmness in this situation. So it's like when you're in, their presence, seems like faking it is like a good option. Faking your calm is a good option. And then if you have to, like, totally beat up a pillow or smoke 5 joints or something after that, then go for it. But because none of them can access their sanity, you gotta be the sane one. And it will serve you really well. Staying the sane one means that when she's super duper panicking about what to do and wanting to do right things for her kid, she's going to think of you first as the rightest of the right choice. I know you're trying, I know. But yes, so of course, any follow-up questions, write them down, and we'll talk when we can talk. But I have to now go. I don't know that I'll get much sleep, and I wasn't going to sleep well anyway, but I start a new thing in just a few hours, new training and stuff. So I need to make sure I've at least eaten and napped and that kind of stuff. You've been honest? You mean with Ashton? Yeah. Well, that's true. You're on Dalton's side. I mean, that's just the thing when there's a little person. No matter how much you love your kids, they're more grown up, and the little person is, takes precedence. I understand that. It's one of those, it is sad though. I understand how you must feel because they really do love each other. It's not like, even though their relationship is messy, it's not like, oh gosh, those two should have never ever gotten together. They wouldn't know real love if it bit them, in the nose. No, they actually really do love each other. They just, both are messed up and they need to be taking care of their mental health better, but also they started so young, so they have all these young person bad habits that need to be broken. And who knows, they both do believe that there could be eventually, a long time from now, a reconciliation, and maybe it's a good thing, like, that they split before it's gotten so bad that people are like breaking down doors and stuff. Oh yeah. No, they both have lied to you. And they were dueling, they definitely were dueling like dating situations, right? They both were like waving other people in front of each other. And so, you know, it's messy. I mean, like, it's messy. But anyway, I'm so glad that we got to talk about Dalton, especially. And I know you've been worried about her too, both because you do love her and you love your son, but also because, you of course don't want to see your family part. And I did see a little flash of her at some point, being in some room where you live, like, for a while. I did see that as a distinct possibility that I don't know what it'll be. I don't know if, like, something will happen and they need to get their roof fixed or bug bombed or what, but she'll be staying with you, and it'll be one of those things where in some ways it'll be really fun because, if everybody can stay calm, you can work on building your relationship with her outside of him even more, so that no matter what goes on with them, you have a strong connection to kiddo's mother. Yeah, and I think it might happen. But I think it'll be okay too. And yeah. So anyway, I love you guys. I'm gonna go real fast, or I won't shut up. And I'm glad we got to talk about that because I could feel how worried you were, and we'll talk about it more in the future. I'm sure we could book a private and do more detailed stuff. But I knew it was really important too when your mom and your grandmom both. I mean, they're always around you, but they both came and like took a seat basically wherever you are. And so it was like a family meeting. So I knew it was really important to get the details. Good night, Miss Claudia. So much love to you. And good night, Miss Pixie. So much love to you. And Mr. Joe, I will see you on the other side of me killing this live.
Okay, good night, everyone.
Good night.